Billy Peltzer is once again reunited with the Mogwai Gizmo after rescuing him from the genetics lab in Clamp Center, a skyscraper in New York City. Billy stashes Gizmo away in his office and instructs Gizmo to be very quiet and to stay out of trouble. However, Gizmo, being the curious Mogwai that he is, doesn't follow Billy's instructions, and Gizmo's adventure in New York begins. Gremlins 2: The New Batch is a top-down action platformer released by Sunsoft in 1990. You can move in 8 directions with the D-pad, and pressing A will allow Gizmo to jump. Gizmo can attack enemies with his weapon using the B button. When you first start the game, your primary weapon is a genetically engineered tomato, which you can lob at enemies, but as the game progresses, you'll receive other weapons like the match, which shoots fire, the paperclip, and the bow and arrow. Defeated enemies may drop items like the pogo stick, which gives Gizmo the power of no die from enemy attack, or crystal balls, which act as currency. You'll occasionally encounter wooden doors located throughout the levels, which allow Gizmo to access Mr. Wing's shop, where you can buy additional power-ups like extra lives, balloons which allow Gizmo to recover from falling into a pit, or the power pack which powers up all of Gizmo's weapons. You only need to buy the power pack once, so once you have that, I found the best investment to be extra lives, as you only have a single life otherwise. If you lose all your lives, you'll have the option to continue from the start of the stage, and you'll also receive a password so you can pick up where you left off. I've never been a big fan of top-down platformers since it can be really difficult to judge distances, but Gremlins 2 pulls it off admirably. However, that doesn't mean there aren't the occasional controller-twisting moments when you mistime a jump or take a bad angle at a moving platform. There are boss fights at the end of each set of stages, aside from the first set of stages, and most of them feature Gizmo fighting variations of Mohawk, the leader of the New Batch in the movie. These boss fights don't offer too much in the way of challenge, but Gremlins 2 does not pull any punches when it comes to the stages themselves. Many of the platforming sections later in the game feature precise jumps between moving conveyor belts or moving platforms, often surrounded by spikes, fire, pits, or all of the above, and it took quite a bit of practice for me to finally overcome these obstacles. If you know anything about Sunsoft, then you'll already know they were responsible for some of the best music on the NES, and Gremlins 2 does not disappoint in that department. In fact, I want to take a moment to give a small sample of just how good the music in this game is. The music is simply fantastic and is the highlight of the game for me, which is saying a lot because Gremlins 2 is actually a really good game. If you do manage to pick up a copy, just remember the 3 rules: never expose your game pack to bright light, don't let it get wet, and don't feed it after midnight. Thank you, yes, you've been a wonderful... I award Gremlins 2: The New Batch a hydrophobic 4 out of 5.